Welcome to the Upshot, Multi-World Disc Golf's podcast about the latest in the disc golf world. I'm the editor, Charlie Eisenhood. Joining me is Josh Mansfield on this Thursday, September 28th. We are 1 week from the start of the US DGC, the final major of the season, of course, alongside the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Very excited. I'm heading down to Charlotte on Wednesday and driving down to Rock Hill. I'll be in the booth with Juliana Korver and Zoe Andike for the call of FPO. Very excited for that. Josh, we got some big news to talk about today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Damian Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay. 3-team trade. Bunch of stuff going on. Suns involved. Mm-hmm. Blazers involved, of course. And then the Bucks. So my question to you, and I already know, like, the Europeans, you can't complain because we're talking about Giannis's team. Tell me your thoughts. Who won the trade?
It's interesting because Bucks absolutely have, I think, a real good, clean title shot now. I mean, they have great odds in the East every year anyway, but title is very realistic. Bucks are the favorite now in the betting odds, which not surprising after a trade like this. But I actually really like this trade for the Blazers. I think overall Blazers probably win this. Getting Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and the 2029 first round pick with the swaps in 2028 and 2030. I really like that. Especially because, I mean, if they really believe that, what is it, like Scooter Henderson is their guy, then this really is a long-term setup that I think Portland is going to be able to work with. And maybe just as a Lakers fan, I'm still like, I'm reeling a little bit from the past couple of years, but I think that losing Drew Holiday is going to hurt the Bucks more than they recognize or are like.
Come on. Get out of here with that. Hang on a second. Okay. The Bucks win the trade for the simple reason that what it comes down to in the NBA is, do you have star players who can carry you across the line in the playoffs? That's what everybody's trying to do. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Like, we can squint and we can see, okay, maybe they can flip Drew Holiday in Portland and they can get some assets back for him. And they improve their overall position. They get rid of Nurkic, who was sort of like starting to wear on everybody and he, wasn't really delivering. And they have pieces that you're like, okay, they're going to be a solid team. They're probably going to go to the playoffs and they're probably going to lose in the first or second round. Mm-hmm. Okay. As a Knicks fan, I know all about this.
Sure.
Right. They're solid. And yes, they have some flexibility for the future. That's all fine. Is this really the most that they could get for Lillard? I mean, what happened with all these other teams that were trying to come after him? Is this really the bet? I mean, maybe, but I feel like it's fine for the Blazers. Every team gets something they want out of this deal.
That's
the Suns true. Add depth, Portland adds flexibility, and the Bucks are win now. So that's all great. I think the thing is, you're talking about Drew Holiday being sure, during the regular season, maybe, but they're replacing Drew Holiday with Dame. This is not a problem for them. And here's the thing. Yeah. Drew Holiday, one of the worst playoff players of the last couple seasons.
That's true.
He was horrible. He was like the worst volume shooter in the playoffs, worse than Julius Randle over the last 2 seasons. It's not good.
It was Scoot Henderson. Sorry, I said Scooter, but yeah, Scoot. Here's my problem though with the Bucks trade. I guess this is where were if I had asked you right now before the trade, as it stood before, where do you think the Bucks make it to in their season? What's your projection?
Eastern Conference Finals, or maybe. I mean, they obviously blew it last year, but they are way better than they played in the playoffs last season. And the Heat had some weird hex on everybody.
That's true. But the thing is I just look at it and I'm like, I still think Bucks are going to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. They don't have the depth.
To Celtics?
Probably. Or the Heat again. Jimmy Butler. Did you see Jimmy Butler's tweet?
Yeah. Ring. I think that it's going to be very powerful for the Bucks to have a scoring capable point guard who is lethal and like makes the right decisions and doesn't just chuck up bricks. Because like in pick and roll with Giannis, they're just so dangerous. Like, what do you do? What do you do against them? Giannis, it's hard to watch the Bucks at times. Watching them in the playoffs last season, they had no answers. It's just like Giannis tries to back somebody down and throw something up. And like it sometimes works, of course, but it starts to feel like they don't have good solutions in the half court. So I think Lillard just is going to put so much more pressure on the defense.
You're probably right about that. It'll be interesting to watch. I mean, this is a blockbuster trade for sure.
It is. It's very exciting.
They use that word loosely sometimes, but this one.
All right. Let's talk some disc golf.
Okay.
Send us your NBA takes, folks. Upshot at ultiroll.com. First thing, I don't think we mentioned this on the show yet. Congratulations to Garrett Gerthy and Jessica Weiss, who got engaged a couple weeks ago. It was like right before Worlds. And I just don't think we ever talked about it. So just wanted to shout them out. Very cool. And they've been dating a long time. So great to see them. And all that jerky money's paying for the wedding. You better believe it.
Double G craft jerky.
They're going to have jerky bowls at the wedding, right?
Is there going to be a flavor named after Jessica Weiss now?
Take it home jerky bar. That's a idea. Like there's little canisters and you like go in and pick your flavors into a little, double G Jessica Weiss bag. Yeah, mix and match.
There we go.
Never before seen combo pack. Also, quick mulligan here. We were talking about the U.S. Women's payout and mentioned that it was $100,000. Very, very cool. It is still very, very cool. But we said / implied that it was the FPO payout. That was the total pro purse payout, including all of the other pro divisions. Now, I have to admit, I didn't actually go and add it up. I think it was over $75,000 in the FPO purse, which is still really good.
Yes.
So I don't think anything we said changed. I just wanted to make sure I clarified that.
Yeah. Oh, and the other important part is like we're comparing apples to apples. Last year's numbers, I'm sure, were built around the total pro payout when they did the purse publishing. And so even though it was incorrect in the way that we implied it, it still is a significant jump over last year.
Because we looked it up in the PDGA page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same in terms of the comparison of the jump, still incredibly significant and very good.
In less good news, much worse news, Kona Panis posted on Instagram that she has been diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Now you may know she's been dealing with thyroid issues for at least a year. And she's been dealing with a lot of, health issues in general, kind of taking her off the tour at times. She's obviously been struggling a lot playing disc golf. And now it's clear that, that's been driven by cancer. The good news, as she pointed out, is that this is one of the most curable forms of cancer, but still just a terrible situation. Wishing Kona all the best and a swift recovery back to full health.
Other part that she added on her Instagram and some people echoed in the comments, including other pros, I know she's very grateful to have an answer, right? And to have caught this when she did. She's been kind of wondering what's going on all season and going to lots of specialists. And so for her to have found the answer, I'm sure is just a great relief in a sense. And so I really hope that everything goes well for her.
Okay. Final thing in this little intro, the Disc Golf Pro Tour has announced the championship purse for 2023. Unsurprisingly, it is again record setting for the fourth year in a row. It will be the largest ever disc golf payout at a single tournament. This year, $322,000, $40,000 going to the winners, and matched payouts for MPO and FPO in the top 4 spots, with everybody who is in at all getting at least $2,500 just for showing up. Josh, more huge money at the Pro Tour Championship. It does come under on our over-under, which was set at, I think, 351. We set it at. I squeezed out a little extra space. And you, or maybe 349, I forget. Either way, you took the under, you get the win.
Yep. It is not the same jump as it's been in previous years, and we'll talk about that. But the part to me that's significant, and the Pro Tour needs to continue to do, I know that players are going to argue, and I know why players argue, that they want deeper payouts and more money down the board. But as a fan, and as somebody who looks at this from the optics side, I just want the winner's payout to keep going up, even if the purse does not go that significantly up, right? And note, this is a $20,000 difference. 10,000 of that is going to the winners at 5,000 apiece in terms of difference from last year this year. So it's clear that they're continuing to increase the weight of the winners, and this event, the rest of the season, great with me, right? Pay as many players, get them on tour. That increases the talent level and the depth of the pool that's able to tour, and then we get better golf because of it. But when it comes to the Tour Championship, you need the winner's payout to be as high as possible so that you can advertise it, so that you can broadcast it, so that people, because money makes people interested. And next year, I hope they hit 50,000. And even if they just jump up to 342 and they only put an additional 10,000 in each of the winners' pockets, that's great with me, because the winner's payout needs to keep going up.
Pretty amazing to, looking at the percent change of the Tour Championship payouts over the last 5 years. You can see the COVID bump, and you can see the COVID plateau that we're in right now. It's amazing to think back in 2019, the payout for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship was just $42,400. That was actually down from 2018, and that was lean times for the Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. At that point, Jeff Spring and Todd Rainwater had just taken over the tour in the summer of 2019, and they had, kind of just like triaging the rest of that year. And then 2020, we have COVID happen. And then, they come back a couple months later, and we get to the Tour Championship, and the purse is up 207% to $130,400, which at the time was a record-setting purse. And then they go up another 91% the following year to 250,000, 21% up in 2022 to 302,000, and then this year just a 6.6% increase to 322. And I think that reflects exactly what we've seen, which is that there was this huge increase in fans, there was all this spectator money coming in. The Disc Golf Network is doing way, way, way better than they anticipated from the early years. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at my notes and articles from the time, but if I recall correctly, in 2020 they were hoping to hit 1,500 subscribers with a high-end goal of 3,000, and they got to 10,000 or something. And now it's close to 50,000 subscribers. I mean, this is a real business that has been created. They've also added all of the advertising. Barbasol is back as the lead advertiser here, but on the other hand, they've also started to bump up against the ceiling. Subscriptions aren't up as much.
Yep.
Advertising isn't like some gigantic. We're not seeing brand new, tons of new companies coming into the advertising conversation. And so, a much more modest increase in the payout.
I gotta say though, I actually would like the Barbasol's back another year.
It's a great sign.
Yeah, I would be more worried if let's say some other name brand company comes in and it's great for a year, but then we have another one the next year. You don't. When you look at other professional sporting events that have big title sponsors, they don't change every year, right? One big sponsor finds it and they're like, oh, this is ours now. And that is what it's named forever. And so I hope it's the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol for the rest of time. And yeah, I hope we get secondary sponsors, but I hope Barbasol keeps thinking that it is worth the value investment to keep putting money in this event.
There's a couple ones that come to mind for me. Rolex sponsoring the clock at the U.S. Open, like the time elapsed clock.
Yep.
That's a classic. It was actually surprising this year because Mercedes used to be the like main car title sponsor, and they had Mercedes logos on the sides of the net.
Oh,
and this year they switched to Chrysler, which is just a vastly inferior logo. And so now there's Chrysler logos on the sides of the net, and it just looks like trash.
You know, when Chrysler's like, yeah, we want these spots or these advertising rights, somebody was like, crap, do we have to give them the nets? We probably have to give them the nets.
I mean, I'm sure they paid.
Oh,
they outbid Mercedes for the right. Crazy. All right. So, big money on the line once again. Who's going to take home $40K for the win? We will find out soon enough, just a couple weeks away from the Pro Tour Championship. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're doing a segment where we have this was a reader suggestion. Josh, who sent this in?
Yeah, Charlie, this comes in the subscriber Discord. It was Josiah Zudzma who sent this one in. Great suggestion and you got to be a part of the Discord. Lots of fun things happening over there.
Love the Discord. You can become a part of our Discord as an Ultiworld Disc Golf subscriber. discgolf.ultiworld.com/subscribe. Get all of our bonus Upshot episodes as well. And basically we're going to look at 5 different concepts that we think could happen by the end of the season. One of them is going to have we're going to say has a 100% chance of happening, one a 50% chance, one a 10% chance, one a 1% chance, and one a 0.1% chance. We'll talk about our picks next.
Pound's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be. Let's start from the beginning. I didn't choose Pound, I chose Levi. I trusted Levi to make the best bag possible.
He's always trying to innovate. He wants it to be perfect. And I think he's the kind of guy that nothing's ever perfect.
I trust the product. I trust the people behind the product.
At this point, I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
Welcome back to the Upshot. It's time for what's the chance of that? I don't know. I just came up with that. That's a terrible name, but we're going to pick 5 different things and give them assigned probabilities of 100%, 50%, 10%, 1%, and 0.1%. Let's start at the top, Josh. What do you think has a absolutely guaranteed 100% chance of happening by the end of the season?
Yeah, mine's the easy one. Hole 17 is going to ruin someone's day at USDGC or Throw Pink Women's Championship.
I think you're going to, you could probably say it's going to ruin 10 people's day.
But I probably could.
50 people's day.
But maybe I should ruin somebody's day who was in the mix.
Okay. Oh, in the mix.
Yeah.
Look out. Shed coming your way if you are. So here's my question then.
Okay.
What's the % chance of hole 17 ruining somebody's winning chance down the stretch in the final rounds?
I'd probably give that like somewhere closer to, I'm going to say 12.5%. And the reason I pick so specific, I think it'll be one person between both lead cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since we've watched a leader
not a
blow
leader.
up and lose on that hole. Although you could make the case that Calvin, when he was on the heater in the rain, had a chance to actually win had he stuck the island. But remember, he like hit the cage and it rolled OB.
Yeah.
And so then like Dickerson was so far behind Calvin on the course that it's hard to say what would have happened. But that's the most recent memory that I have of somebody like burning themselves on that hole.
Someone needs to put that basket in the shed.
Oh, yeah. For real.
Well, I mean, you got Nicholas Antela, who did he miss the island or did he just miss a putt?
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
So Nicholas Antela lost on 17, or fell behind on 17, and then Valerie
But he wasn't
Mondahano.
the leader, right?
No,
oh
he wasn't
yeah,
the leader.
Valerie.
I don't think she was the leader either, though.
Was that round 4?
It was round 4. Because remember, she cried. She was very emotional, sobbing afterwards. So both were in round 4. I don't think either were the leaders. But those are the two that come to my mind when I think of people's chances being ruined.
That was Throw Pink, right? That was 2021 for Valerie. I'm looking it up because I want to see.
I think so.
Valerie ended up finishing 3 shots back. And I'm going to go look at the whole scores right now because I'm very curious. She took a 6. Missy bogeyed and parred 17 and 18. So Val went on the last 2 holes, she went +2, and Missy went +1, and Missy won by 3 strokes. So it was like, had she birdied, then maybe we're talking about she wins. So like she was definitely...
She was not the leader.
It's a good callback. She wasn't the leader, but she could have won had she birdied.
That really did feel like the nail in the coffin. And then, so Nicholas, he missed a circle 2 putt on hole 17. So he made the island, but he played really conservative and went clear out and bailed out. And Gannon steps up and he
cashes that
circle 2 putt.
Yeah.
And so, I think Gannon, I think, putted first because it says he made a 60-footer. So I think Gannon birdied 16. So Gannon I don't know if who putted first, but Gannon makes his putt. Nicholas misses pars, and then he loses by 1 stroke. They both birdie 18.
Anyway, I'm with you that it's going to ruin someone's day.
Yeah,
that's an easy call. All right, here's mine. 100% chance that mystery boxes are going to be crazy this winter.
Ooh.
They are going to be crazy. If you are ready for some new plastic, your chance is coming.
Yeah.
As everyone is going to be trying to unload all of the stock that's sitting in shelves right now. I think we're going to see some really good deals.
Yeah.
Black Friday, Christmas time this year.
That's a good take. And I think a lot of, even if there are manufacturers who have not gotten in on this game before, they probably will.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think if you're willing to kind of like look around the scene, you're going to be able to find some really good deals. And it might be a situation where you want to be ready and like they might have some like wild, like first 100 people get 20 discs for $100. It's not going to be that, but it's going to be very good. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I like that one. All right. What's your 50% chance, Charlie?
50% chance. And I'm going to be interested to see what you think of my pick here. 50% chance that Gannon Buhr leaves Prodigy at the end of this season. And joins and has a new sponsor for 2024.
So you think there's a 50% chance that Prodigy convinces Gannon to stay?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
Because let me tell you why, okay? Because I think a lot of people are probably going to spot this at more like 100%.
I don't quite
agree with that. Here's what I'm going to tell you it's 50.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I think Gannon is going to make a decision based on the money, as he should. This is a sponsorship. And it's not, let's admit it, it's not like he has had some kind of huge competitive problem throwing Prodigy discs.
It's true.
Right? He is still winning with, even if he's complaining. And I think behind the scenes, I don't think Prodigy players are particularly happy with the quality of a lot of the plastic. There's big, inconsistencies in the run. We've all felt the flashing. It's a real thing.
The flashing's terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
Terrible. Yeah.
Okay. But I think that Gannon, here's why it's 50.
Okay.
I'm sure there's bad blood, all that. But there's kind of like, there's new leadership starting to come into more of a position of, being the face of the company. That's number one. Number two is, who is going to pay Gannon? If not, okay, Prodigy obviously should be in the conversation. Possibly they feel bad blood towards Gannon as well, but this kid is just massive potential.
I've got my
So who's going to
prediction.
pay him? Who's going to pay him? That's my question, because I don't see it being a great fit for Discraft. Does Innova want to throw money at him right now?
Nope, they've got Calvin.
You look around the big manufacturers; they already have their people. And we talked to UC 2 months ago, and he said, "Well, we got to sign Eagle and we got to sign Kyle, and then we'll see."
Yep.
And so the most obvious company that will have money to spend is Prodigy.
You're missing one. You missed a company.
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say?
Say it.
Latitude 64.
I know.
Latitude 64, owned by this massive corporation now, has money to burn. And I mean, Emerson Keith, like, he won one. Like, shout out to that guy. No, Emerson's not even on Latitude anymore. He's on Lone Star now.
I don't even remember who the highest Latitude NPO is.
Is Albert Tom with Latitude? Like, that's probably it. Latitude 64 making big move, and here's the other problem. Prodigy, and they said this in their court filing, right? Gannon is our only A-tier player. It's not true anymore. Isaac won 2 majors this season. So let Gannon walk. Let him go. Let someone else pay him gonzo bucks. And take Isaac, who you, at least on the face, seems happier and has gotten the raise.
And he's under contract.
And then just pay him big money. Keep that contract for a year and then pay big money next year to Isaac. And just save yourself a ton of payroll this year. Gannon's gone.
So what do you think about 50%?
I think it's a higher chance. I think it's closer to like 75 that he leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your 50?
50% that we, the collective disc golf fans, are going to want the old Pro Tour Championship format back.
Ooh.
I think this is going to be a case.
Much maligned.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a case of grass is greener on the other side. And we're going to get to the other side and go, man, the old format, for all of its problems, was exciting. And we're going to want it back.
So this is interesting. So give me the case on why you think this new format won't be good.
Sure.
Like, this is essentially the PGA Tour's model.
But here's my question, and I don't know about this one. Does the PGA Tour reset back to even at any point?
No.
See, this is what's weird to me about this format, isn't it? So it's 2 rounds where players have their stroke advantages. So they come in with their stroke advantages, then they play 2 rounds. Then they cut, and everyone starts on even footing, and then they play 2 rounds.
That's exactly right, Josh. They 2 rounds with the advantage, cut, everybody back to even, play 2 rounds of normal stroke play to determine the winner.
Okay, so with that then, number 1, I think your players who have the stroke advantages, we're talking about enough strokes that, like, in a 4-round tournament, I would say that lead is surmountable. In 2 rounds, it's not at all. So Kristen, in my opinion, is going to cakewalk through the first 2 rounds.
She almost can play horrible and still make it to the second.
It's too many strokes for 2 rounds. So that lead is so much so that she's just going to walk through, and then she's going to get to the last back half, and it's just going to be 2 rounds of normal. And to me, it doesn't give enough, like, it feels like it tries to play the middle ground of the 2 things where it's like, well, we want to be a regular tournament because people didn't like the weirdness of the old format, but we still need to get some.
Nobody showed up to watch the early rounds because none of the top players were there.
Right.
That's a big part of why this has changed, I think.
Sure. I would much rather prefer that it's just 4 rounds straight across where you get the stroke lead and then you go.
I mean, that's what the tour does. That's what
it is. It makes so much more sense. So I think that split where it's the 2 and 2 just feels weird and is going to actually make us miss the excitement of the old Pro Tour Championship format, despite all the problems that it had.
We'll see. I think from a fandom standpoint, there's now a reason to go during the early rounds to watch players compete, but I feel like there's going to be little drama to be had watching the top players because they already have strokes and they're the best players. So like the odds of them falling all the way out of the cut line seem low.
And
I would be more interested if they did a cut after round 2, like same structure as they have now.
Sure.
Cut after round 2, but don't reset scores. You just cut the bottom however many.
Great.
And then you play another round.
Okay.
And then you cut again, and maybe there you cut back to 0.
Sure. That works.
Because I do understand, like it's admittedly contrived.
Sure.
But it creates drama for that final round to have everybody starting with the same score.
And
it's
that's,
like every hole feels exciting the whole way through the whole entire round.
I want to throw back. We had someone write in. It was he's from Montana, so I've disc golf. His name's Kyler. He wrote in a format where it's just like the old format, but except players who have buys can opt in to play early rounds to get stroke advantages.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
And what's interesting about that
like
as well,
bonus strokes.
Yeah, but you risk getting cut, right? You risk that if you opt in and you don't do well enough. But what I like about that is you advertise the drama of whether or not people are going to opt in, and then sell the tickets. And it's like, oh shoot, none of the top players opted in. We're so sorry, guys. Like, it'll still be a good time. Thanks for buying your tickets.
I mean, you just have to make the risk reward balance right. Mm-hmm. You know, if you say, if you play in the first round and you make it through and you get a 1-stroke advantage for the final day, that's not enough. But if it's a 3-stroke advantage, maybe it's enough. I mean, I don't know how you'd have to tinker with that. But you know what it reminds me of a little bit? The MLS in their playoffs is now doing the top seeds draft their opponent.
There are other, like esports does that.
Oh, is that right?
Top seed gets to pick which opponent they want to play.
And I kind of like that. I kind of like that there's like some option to be like call your shot in a way and be like, yeah, these players suck. Like I'm going to go get some strokes.
Yeah.
I think this tournament is still figuring itself out a little bit.
It is.
And my problem with it is that like it feels like it has the wrong balance a little bit because like, is it good that Nathan Queen won this tournament? You know, like and it was a fun story. It was an awesome story, but like you have this whole entire season accumulating to this moment. And then we're like, everybody starts from 0. And it's just kind of a weird thing. So then now they're like, oh, well, we're going to adopt the PGA Tour thing, but only for 2 rounds. And then everybody goes back to 0. And so like, it just feels like it kind of underweights the whole season and it makes this tournament feel like a very random outcome.
Sure.
In a way that like, I don't know why people give this tournament a pass, but they were going crazy about Champions Cup doing like hybrid stroke play, match play, which is not that different than what this tournament does. I get it. People are like, that's a major. Yeah. We want the majors to be legit. We have those conversations here on the show. Yep. It's not like we like the format concept. Sure. It just, why does the Pro Tour Championship have to be this gimmick? I feel like there's got to be a better way. I guess the obvious concern is that if you give the best players during the season an advantage, they're just going to win.
Right.
And then it's like boring. I don't know how to find that balance. It's tough.
It is. It is a tough balance. But the problem is like, I mean, they used to have a match play championship with a big payout and nobody cared. Nobody watched it. Right. So, how do you balance that where you want it to have both the elements, but still get people to watch?
And for what it's worth, last year, Kristen and Ricky won. They were the best players in the season.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. 10% chance. Josh, what are you going with?
Yeah. 10% chance that USDGC and the Pro Tour finish in playoffs. Either division, but both have playoff elements. This is, in my opinion, not the 10%, like, just because the odds of playoffs are low, but this one feels pretty reasonable to me. We saw playoffs 2 years ago, with Paul Macbeth and Kyle Klein, where the DGN stream crashed.
Oh, that was tough. That was tough. That was so tough. Oh man.
And then the Pro Tour is finished in playoff. Pro Tour Championship is finished in playoffs as well.
I have another 100%er for you, Josh.
Oh.
DGN leaves Vimeo at the end of this season.
Oh my gosh. Here's another 100% for you. If the next platform does not let me rewind, I am going to complain about it so much.
That's so bad.
I hate that.
You know it's bad when like all the subscribers, the DGN subscribers are like, yes, it's round 1. We can watch on YouTube.
I didn't watch a single final round on DGN last year.
It's terrible.
It was always on YouTube.
It's honestly embarrassing. I can't believe Vimeo hasn't like worked this out, but unless they make major changes, I think Pro Tour are out of there.
Yeah.
I like this, Josh. I think 10% sounds about right. Like, it's like a sub 50% chance of it happening at either event. And so like you combine those probabilities and it's probably around that number. I think so you're saying not that all 4.
No, that
one of US women's or Throw Pink and USDGC, one of the divisions, and then one of the divisions of the Pro Tour Championship gets a playoff.
Correct.
10% sounds right.
Yeah.
Hope you're right. It was exciting.
I do too.
We had a playoff last year. Ricky and Isaac
Oh yes.
at the Pro Tour
Oh,
Championship.
you meant USDGC and I.
No. Ricky nuked himself out of the tournament in round 3. What was that?
I don't know. Winthrop has kryptonite
That
lace.
was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked so good through 2 rounds, and then he was just like, I can't play disc golf.
I don't know, man.
Here's my 10%er.
Okay.
Isaac Robinson, speaking of Isaac, wins Player of the Year. Think about it.
Okay.
What's the path? The path is win USDGC. Probably that has to happen.
Right. Isaac is not Player of the Year right now.
No.
That's the establishment.
No, I don't think so. If I'm voting today, it's Calvin, and I don't even really think about it too long. And that's despite Isaac's success at the majors. I fully acknowledge that.
I would want to look
at Calvin's body of work surpasses Isaac's easily for me at the moment. But if Isaac wins USDGC, and certainly if he wins both events
without a doubt,
that's kind of a lock, right? I mean, he was number 2 in the Pro Tour standings. He has 2 majors. Calvin has 0. If he makes it 3 majors and, doesn't just play horrible at the Pro Tour Championship, it might be enough.
So here's what here's my argument. Isaac only needs to win either USDGC or Pro Tour, and that's enough.
I don't know, Josh. I don't know if Pro Tour Championship's enough.
And Calvin can't win. If Calvin wins anything, it's a lock.
Yeah.
It's done. But Isaac, since what is it? Portland. Well, I remember someone was putting, and we'll do more math when we get to the end of the season. But since really like Music City, Isaac has been an excellent he has a resume that is worthy of a Pro Tour of a Player of the Year paired with the major wins. It's his early season that was terrible. He had 3 tournaments that were just atrocious right in a row. And that's what pulls him down so far. But man, Calvin hasn't won since Jonesboro.
Yep.
It's so hard for me to blankly, just to write Calvin a blank check because he hasn't won since April.
Calvin has finished ahead of Isaac so many times. So many times. Except, of course, at the 2 majors. I mean, it's more than that, but I get your point. I mean, you don't have to tell me again about why you think Calvin has problems. I just think that I don't know that it would be enough for Isaac to win Pro Tour Championship unless Calvin played really bad at these next 2 tournaments. But if he wins USDGC, and maybe 10% is about the right chance of that happening.
Yeah.
I just think, it's not likely, but it's definitely possible.
Sure. Let's look at what are his win odds right now at USDGC. I'm curious what UDisc has him at.
I bet it's sub 10%.
This just feels disrespectful to me. It's 3%.
I don't agree. I mean, I think if you gave me, whatever that would be, 30-1 odds, I'm definitely going to put a little on Isaac.
They gave Matty O 9%.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the algorithm, Josh.
That's a disrespectful
Chat
algorithm.
GPT.
It's a disrespectful algorithm.
1% chance. You ready?
All right, let's hear it.
Someone makes it into the basket during the distance contest at USDGC.
Is there a prize for that? Like,
I think there's something. I think it might be for charity. I don't actually know what they do. There's something, but I've never seen it happen.
How far is that?
It's really far.
Really far.
I think it's like 600 to clear the water.
Jeez.
And like a lot of times, clearing the water is a thing that happens plenty.
Sure.
But I've never even really seen somebody come close to going into one of the baskets. It's not just one. There's like 10 baskets over there. I debated putting this in my 0.1% slot.
Yeah, it's definitely not likely, especially because like players aren't trying, right? Like that, they're just trying to.
They're trying.
Well, they're just trying to throw it as far as they can.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way you could really aim at that distance. I mean, you can sort of, kind of aim, but like so often, people try to get a move on the disc and they overturn it and it burns away deep into the right.
Yeah, that's 1% feels right. I like that one.
What you got?
All right, my 1%. Euros win both USDGC and Throw Pink.
I think that's too low of a percent.
Really?
Well, okay, because Throw Pink, Kristen's going to be the heavy favorite, right?
76% and UDisc win probability.
So
but let me give you the real fast counterpoint, because I thought about this too. Kristen hasn't won this event yet.
It's true.
I don't think she played it in 2021, and she did not win it in 2022. She took second, but did not win it. So, anyway, continue. But you're right. Kristen, heavy favorite.
Well, she finished second behind Katrina Allen, who is completely out of form right now.
Yep.
And has seemingly no chance to win this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So who is going to outplay her? Like I already told you, from a percentage odds standpoint, I'll come back to why I think it should be higher than 1%. But I am picking Henna Blomroos to win Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship.
That's right. Yeah.
I said this in the Rapid Reacts. I'm saying it here. And next week in the preview show, I will say it there.
Okay.
Henna Blomroos is going to win. But I acknowledge that the odds of that happening are not over 50%.
Yeah.
So let's just take Kristen's number from 75, right? Let's call it 75. You can call it 70 if you want.
Okay.
And then let's aggregate the odds of all of the European players in MPO.
Okay. I did that.
Maybe we get to about 10%. Let's call it less. Let's call it 7%.
It's 7% if you take the players who have 1% or better of winning.
Okay, right? Because you got Simon at like what, 3%?
Yep. Nicholas at 2, Maori Vilman at 1, Vino at 1.
I honestly feel like there's some disrespect here because Nicholas Antela, for instance, has been right here.
I agree with that.
At this course.
Yeah.
So multiply those odds together, 75%, 7% to get the combined probability, and it's like 5-ish%. So I'm not overly complaining. I just think it's better than a 1% chance.
Sure, probably. I don't think it's a 10% chance though. I think
no, probably not.
10 is too high, and so I default to 1 because look, like, and I guess the henna thing is what's different for you, right? But like, but for me, it's like,
fair point. I'm like going on about henna. She's still a European,
right. Like that's the thing is you get the odds with henna, and I'm like, look, Big Money Missy's going to show up, and Kristen's going to be like, yeah, whatever. Like I count my rings, right? Like I won all 4 majors, and I'm going to go win the 40K at the Pro Tour Championships. Of all the tournaments that are like the important ones, to me, this feels the least significant.
And I won't lie, Kristen tends to have letdown tournaments following big, emotionally, heavy
And man, was
majors
U.S.
and stuff.
women's.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is definitely a letdown spot. Like, if you're looking to bet against Kristen, this is a good opportunity to do so. You know, if you want to take field plus 300, I would not blame you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so because of that, I think Big Money Missy or Own both have excellent chances here, or Haley King, or there are people who could pop up and take this win. And
I don't think Own can win here.
You don't.
It's too much distance.
Oh, I've got to. What did she do last year?
She probably finished second. I mean, somebody just pointed this out in the Discord. This is insane stat. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Owen Scoggins right now is rated higher than Katrina Allen has ever been rated in her career.
That is so wild.
That's crazy, right?
That is something else. Owen finished 8th. So
yeah, I just don't see it here. But
here's what I'll say about.
She's been proving me wrong all season.
Owen took a triple bogey on 17.
I remember that. Oh no, I remember her bungling it on hole 5. She took like a 10.
That's right. So she had. Okay, hold on. I don't remember what round that was. So let me find that round real fast. So
I was like round
3
or 3.
So round 3, Owen takes a 9 on hole 5.
It was a 9. Okay.
She takes a 9 on hole 12. So that's 8.
My God.
That's 8 strokes. She takes a 6 on hole 17 in round 4. So now we're at 11 strokes. And she took a 9 on hole 18 in round 4. And so now we're at 15 strokes.
A 9 was another 5 strokes. So
5. That was 4 strokes on hole 18. Hole 18 is a par 5 for the women.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So I think we're at 15 strokes. If you give Own, because in like, okay, so let's look at round 1.
Just give her pars, right? Okay, give her pars.
Round 1, holes. She parred all of those holes.
Whatever. Yeah. She can take a par. We know she could take a par.
We know she can take a par. She takes par on all of those, and she beats Katrina by a stroke.
That's crazy, dude.
4 holes, she takes par, beats Katrina. I mean, this is the craziest what if. Like, this is what ifism at its worst. But my point is, Own can win this tournament.
Yeah, you know what? I accept your proposition here. The problem is Winthrop hands out those big numbers, and everybody takes those big numbers, and even Own cannot necessarily avoid taking those big numbers.
Yeah, she had a lot of OB. The last thing, Charlie, I'm not going to beat the dead horse too much, but the last thing I have to point out. Do you remember what happened in round 2 at Throw Pink last year?
No.
Katrina, Henna, and Own all tied for the course record at 10 down. The second best round was a 6 under on the weekend.
I do remember that now that you mention it.
Final score for Katrina, 16 down, and 10 of them came in round 2.
The weather conditions were variable last year. We had bad weather round 1. It was nice round 2, and then it was kind of crummy again. I remember that they were playing out of their minds. Mm-hmm. So Owen shot a 10.
Owen shot a bogey-free 10 down at Winthrop.
All right. I accept that I am wrong about what I said. I'm doubting the dog way too much. I will never do it again.
Why do we always say that and then we do it and then she proves us wrong? Okay, all right. Enough on the Own subject.
What do you have for 0.1% chance of happening, Josh? Final category. 1 in 1,000.
1 in 1,000. My 1 in 1,000. Eagle leaves Discmania.
Oh. Come on. It's got to be higher than that.
No, I don't think so. And here's why. Number 1, where does he go? Right? I'll flip that argument on you, right? Is it latitude? Right? But after that, where does he go? But second, if you are Discmania, tell me like what. I don't think there's a company that's going to pay Eagle like they paid Simon. Eagle is not Simon.
Not at this point.
No, and not at this point. I think if Discmania were to lose Eagle, that is disastrous on just so many levels. The amount of plastic that Eagle moves is absurd. And it's not quite Simon levels, and it might not be Macbeth levels, but I bet Eagle's probably number 3.
And the thing about Eagle is that he's extremely popular in Europe.
Yes.
Now that's of course part of the fact that he's sponsored by Discmania and they have a heavy presence of marketing in Europe. But I think a company that would want Eagle specifically is going to be a company that has a European presence.
So Latitude.
But the thing I think about, you said that and I thought about it, but would Latitude do that given the business relationship between the two companies?
I don't think so. It doesn't make sense.
That's a hostile act.
Well, Charlie, in addition to Latitude manufacturing Discmania discs now, I mean, we talked to UC about if there were any discussions between Discmania and House of Discs, and he indicated that they've talked preliminarily, but it doesn't have anything more than that. But House of Discs owns every company that they produce discs for now, so except Discmania, right?
That's as far as we know, that's true,
right? Which means, in my mind, what's more likely is that Discmania goes with House of Discs, at which point it would be a terrible business decision to pull Eagle away, right? You already have all that infrastructure, marketing investment, and discs produced around Eagle for Discmania. And if Discmania does end up joining that conglomerate, it very much would just, it benefits them regardless of where Eagle is.
I mean, what I would say is that the argument for this being extremely low likelihood is that Discmania has incredible incentive to make sure that they re-sign Eagle, which means backing up the Brinks truck.
Yeah.
Because there's just where is Discmania as a brand if it loses Simon and Eagle in back-to-back seasons? Who is the face of your company at that point? Nicholas Antela? I'm sorry, that would be terrible. It would be disastrous for Discmania.
Yeah.
Disastrous. They've been at enough tumult already.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree that it's very low likelihood that Eagle leaves. But remember that Eagle gets to make this decision.
That's true.
And there will be other companies interested in signing Eagle.
That's true.
And you know what? If you're Eagle, you have to look around at the marketplace and you have to say to yourself, when I watch other people move, I watch them make a crap ton of money, either on a new contract or by selling a lot more discs.
It's true.
You see these players make a move, they sell more discs. So I think Discmania is going to have to really sweeten the pot, and I'm sure they will.
Well, let me make one more point, though. Eagle doesn't play enough. And other teams, Eagle plays the least of any high-profile player who is the flagship player of any other company, right? I mean, I guess you can make Dickerson as the argument, but they've got Paul at Disc.
You could argue Macbeth, but I mean, he's just playing in Europe,
and again,
which
Macbeth,
is probably good for their brand,
right? But as well, Macbeth is. It's so hard to compare Macbeth to anybody. But look at Ricky, look at Calvin, look at Gannon or Isaac.
Grinders.
Yeah, exactly. And Eagle's not. He just doesn't play as much. He takes time off. He doesn't play the silver events, and I just have a hard time seeing a company. I mean, yes, Eagle is incredibly lucrative, but I think he has a gig set up at Discmania that fits him so well and fits, what he wants out of his career. And again, this is all pure speculation from outside looking in, obviously, but that kind of, you're right that Eagle makes this decision, but I think who Eagle is as a player right now on the Pro Tour needs Discmania as much as Discmania needs Eagle.
Here's what I'd say, Josh. But last year, you would have put Simon leaves Discmania as a 0.1% chance.
That's true.
And it happened.
It happened.
And my point is mostly that Eagle has agency here. And I think that by definition means that this is more like a 5 to 10% chance.
You're probably right. But this is me calling it now.
You're calling
Eagle
your shot.
re-signs with Discmania in the offseason.
All right. Here we go. Mine also could be argued not to be even a 0.1% chance.
Oh, so you went the opposite direction.
Paul Macbeth decides, you know what? There's just enough time. I'm going to play USDGC and I'm going to win it. And then my baby's going to come.
What's his due date?
It's like during USDGC. I don't exactly know, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
0.1%, 1 in 1,000, Josh.
I'll take those odds. I'll take the 999,000 or 999 cases where it doesn't. I'll take yeah, if you want to give me any odds, I will take the side that Macbeth does not play. Yeah, that would be incredible though. Could you imagine if he just shows up?
It'd be like the Undertaker music plays and then he like steps onto the tee.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, unlikely is not a strong enough word for how low the odds are on this one.
I think 0.1% is about right. Like, who knows? Maybe the baby comes early and they're like, I actually think we can come in the RV and like we can, Hannah and the baby can be in the RV and Paul, spends most of the day there and like they can deal with the baby and he can play.
Just get Paul a stroller.
Or they're like, the baby is late. And they're like, oh, we're going to schedule, we're going to induce you in a week after USDGC. Like, I think there's a chance. It's a small chance, but there's a chance.
I would.
And to be clear,
money.
I'm also including that he has to win as a part of my 0.1% chance.
Yeah, that's not good odds. I want Paul Macbeth to go up to Matty O and ask him to borrow his stroller after the baby comes and to push Matty O's stroller around for a tournament and be like, living the dad life now, man.
Oh, Paul, are you carrying your discs in the cart now? Nah, bro.
It's baby Macbeth. Start him early. Has the baby drop the mini for him off the side of the stroller.
All right. That's going to do it for this edition of the Upshot. We'll be back with you on Tuesday to preview USDGC and throw pink. Cannot wait. And then our second show next week, we're going to give you one of the rapid react shows that we do for subscribers as part of the main show feed. And we hope you join us because we'll be doing daily recaps during USDGC and throw pink every day in the Discord live following the round. So make sure that you join up right now, discgolf.ultimate.com/subscribe, and get ready for Rapid Reacts and the final major of the season. For Josh Mansfield, I'm Charlie Eisenhood saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week right here on The Upshot.